Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Melvin Way and this is a series on growing California navel oranges from seeds. Now I've always wondered if you can sprout these micro seeds, as I call them, that you find in navel oranges, and I believe sometimes regular oranges as well, although it's been so long since I've had a regular non-navel orange. So I did some rinsing of these with reverse osmosis water to rinse out all the juice, try to get rid of the pulp, with paper towels and things like that. It's quite difficult with these micro seeds to do any kind of manipulations without losing track of them in the folds of the paper towel, etc., or just like dropping them somewhere. So I did that, and we'll see, with some hydrogen peroxide, which is my latest and favorite method of germination. If they're going to germinate, just sitting here at room temperature. So this is on the first floor. I live in a two-story building, so it's going to be a little cooler on the first floor. And yeah, so that might affect the rate of germination compared to the series I had in the past. I had two lemon tree growing series from seeds. One was unsuccessful, I believe, like 7 years ago. The other one was about 5 years ago in different apartment environments. But apartments tend to run really hot, warm, regardless of season, and that helps with germination. Plus I peeled those seeds, so I had forgotten about what I did in the past until I watched the YouTube videos on my channel just now. So yeah, I'm going to take 100 milliliters of RO water, add 50 mils of this 3% hydrogen peroxide, and just go for it. And it doesn't really need to be exact. My last germination attempt with avocado pits, you should watch those if you're used to the toothpicks method or like paper towels and Ziploc bags method. It's eye-opening how you don't have to do any of that. You can just dunk avocado pits in hydrogen peroxide without doing anything, and they'll germinate under sterile conditions, and you get a great start. So that was with 0.5% hydrogen peroxide. This is with 1%. I figured none of it really matters. I don't know about 3%, but this is on June. It's day 12 of this germination attempt. So it does kind of look like there's something in there, two distinct dark regions, but I can't be sure. So I've been eating a lot of California navel oranges. I don't peel them the conventional way. I like to just cut with a knife into pieces like this. And when this cut fruit flesh hits my tongue, it's just like the most amazing taste and texture. So I did have one seed, and I was very dismayed that I sliced the one seed in half. What are the odds? So only maybe one or two in every 50 to 200 California navel oranges, I would say, have seeds in them. And I recently received a comment on one of my old lemon growing video series. Actually it was the California navel orange series, where somebody was saying, well, that's not a California navel orange. California navel oranges don't have seeds. But I really don't think, they're gonna put orange from another lineage into the California navel orange harvest. It just doesn't make any sense. I think it's just a matter of some of them are, for whatever reason, they're mutants, or they're, that's just the so-called navel orange being seedless is just like the overall experience. It's not like an absolute phenotype, meaning every one or two oranges out of say 50 to 200 will have seeds. And of course I'm just going by my experience with these statistics, because haven't eaten thousands of California navel oranges in a short period of time to know like what the exact statistics would be, nor do I think it would be consistent between orchards and different producers and different growing regions or whatever. So I sliced this one in half, and it's fizzing, and it's kind of cool how these chopped up embryos just sort of float out of the seed coats. So in the lemon series, and I actually have yet to rewatch the orange series, I peeled the seed coats, and I totally forgot about that and did not do any of that in this. And you can see a bunch of seemingly detritus floating around, but yeah, nothing happened. None of it is bioactive. So yeah, that's quite the disappointment. I think if I had peeled the seed coats, although I'm not sure how I would have done that with the micro seeds, I think the best bet is to hold them down and cut off the tip of the micro seeds with a knife like this, and then throw it back in the hydrogen peroxide to see if anything happens. So eventually I got lucky after almost another 200 navel oranges, and I got one with seeds. So this one is loaded with big seeds. I cut a bunch in half, but who cares? I got enough seeds to start a new growing series with for sure. So yeah, I did not do the seed peeling. I just went ahead and dunk these in hydrogen peroxide, as you'll see later on, to get things going. So yeah, this is an orange that undoubtedly it's not the best cutting method for aesthetics. I wasn't really interested in the eating of this orange and sucking out the juice, but more so in the seeds. So look at these very large, well-developed seeds. It's really, really refreshing to deal with these rather than the micro seeds. So I am thinking of going back and cutting those micro seeds, but we'll discuss that more later, or maybe in the second episode. So we have like round 9 here. So I'm trying to rub off the slimy coat, but it's proving to be quite difficult. That one got cut. And yeah, so I think the ones that are sliced in half, they're just gone. Maybe if you slice off a little bit from any of the surfaces, depending on what you cut off the embryo, it could still work and germinate and be a healthy plant. But I think if you slice cleanly through and throw it in hydrogen peroxide, nothing happens. So yeah, reviewing my old videos, yeah, it's true that the seed coat, the slimy seed coat, is some kind of inhibitor for germination. It prevents water from getting in, and yeah, you can have seeds potentially just soaking or in a moist environment for weeks and weeks and see no development, no germination. So I don't even know if rubbing with a paper towel like this really does anything. So yeah, I mean, we already know based on my earlier series that cutting and peeling off the seed coat works for lemon seeds and navel orange seeds, but yeah, we don't know if you can just try to germinate them whole like this. So I'm gonna soak 4 of the 8 in hydrogen peroxide 1% in the same bowl as everything else, and because nothing else is going on in there, and I don't want to put it to waste. So you could have hydrogen peroxide just sitting like that for weeks and weeks, and it'll be active even with light hitting it, as long as it's not sunlight or anything that has a strong source of UV light, I believe. And then for a backup here, I'll have 4 other seeds kind of spaced apart and spray it with 0.5% hydrogen peroxide. So I figured, yeah, I mean, 1% is not tested. 0.5% worked for the avocado pits. So it's one of the seeds there is sliced, but just barely. You can see it still through the lid. So yeah, we're gonna see if this condition works. Maybe 1% is too concentrated, who knows? Yeah. So yeah, I only tested 0.5% for the avocado pits series that was pretty recent in 2025. So, oh, actually, no, I think it was 2024 already. So yeah, the years just fly by. So this is actually day 12. I know I said day 12 earlier, but that was for the micro seeds. So this is actually day 12 for these whole seeds, these very large whole seeds. And it just seems like the seed coats resemble skin that's been sitting in a bath for too long. You know, it's all waterlogged, but yet there's no signs of germination. And I already know that one of these germinated because I saw indoors that there's a little bit of a greening effect. So it's actually the seed where I sliced the seed coat tangentially. And I was really worried here because it's so hard to manipulate something so slippery and wet. And I was worried that I was going to break off the root tip. And the root tip also had, it looked like the tip was a little tiny bit brown. It had a little dot of brown. You can't really see it here, but I saw it indoors. And you can see where I sliced open the seed coat and it turned green. So yeah, it opened up at the pointy end and shot out a root. So yeah, I don't know if you can see, but there's like a tiny, you know, tinge of browning at the tip of the root. I don't know. I don't think that could be any sign of disease or malfunction because it's in hydrogen peroxide. Now, maybe after 12 days, the hydrogen peroxide is inert, but yeah, I didn't see a lot of fizzing when I sprayed these down initially and had them in that Tupperware container. So I don't think any of the hydrogen peroxide was really all used up. So then I decided how to orient this. Maybe I'm, yeah, just being too much of a perfectionist here because it really doesn't matter. So like with the avocado pits that I germinated in hydrogen peroxide 0.5%, it doesn't matter what the orientation is because there's gravitropism, so the root system and shoot system will correct themselves as long as you don't keep messing with a plant's orientation every single day. So all the watering shown in this video are done with reverse osmosis water. I flushed out this cocoa coir beforehand. The local tap water is very hard here. It's 500 to 600 parts per million of dissolved solids. And the pH is very basic, 8 to 9. So plants like a slightly acidic pH of 5 to 7. And rainwater is essentially nature's distilled water / reverse osmosis water. So there's, yeah, I mean, you'll run into issues if you'll salt the earth, essentially, if you keep watering with really, really hard tap water, and the pH will be wrong. So cocoa coir has a natural pH, I think, of about 6, which is great for earthworms and mushrooms, and it's great for plants. So yeah, I did a little bit of washing out of the cocoa coir, as you saw there. And on day 15, you can see the cocoa coir is still very moist and dark colored, wet underneath. So in the beginning, the root system is very shallow, so I made sure to keep everything hydrated by watering, but maybe it was a little bit overkill, but I don't really think it hurts. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, you're talking about July, the center, you know, the middle of summer, so the sun's beating down on these pots all day. So just to err on the side of caution and not ruin new plant growing series, nip it in the bud. You know, I decided to make sure I water this like twice a week is fine. And hopefully the root system, the tap root, just runs as deep as possible, and it's already a few centimeters, few inches deep into this pot. So yeah, it seems like we're off to a good start. This video spans the first 38 days since germinating, sort of by accident, one of those tangentially sliced navel orange seeds. So yeah, the development actually doesn't look as advanced by the end of this video as compared to my second growing lemon trees from seed series. So granted, this is navel orange and that's lemon, but they have very similar like leaf morphology, as you'll see. And yeah, those were also germinated in a warmer apartment environment as well. So this is day 24. It's the middle of summer 2025. You can barely see it, but there's a little stick, a stub of green coming out. So that was a relief to see, because I always have a little bit of worry going into the very first few days. I think it's just because, like, in the past, this is day 26, I had so many series where once I transplanted into potting mix, the plant would die. So the great advantage of germinating in hydrogen peroxide is the root systems are very well oxygenated, and the entire environment is sterile. Hydrogen peroxide reacts, and then it's a free radical, and then basically forms oxygen and water. It's a very pure cleansing chemical, and I think it might also be responsible for generating sort of this polyembryonic phenotype, or I don't know what you call it. It just seems like there's like multiple shoots coming out of the seeds, just like with avocado pits last year. So this one has 3 shoots coming out. One of them seems it's kind of like pinched off, had a damping off. I don't know if that's an infection or whatnot, but yeah, there's this stub in the shade of the first and second movers that are much greener. You can see it better here on the right at the base. It just looks like it burned off, but it could potentially keep growing and sprout some leaves, which is sort of what it seemed like the first mover, the tallest one in the center, did too. It seemed like it didn't initially have its cotyledons ready, if there are cotyledons in this species. But yeah, watering once again with reverse osmosis water. And before I started this series, I flushed out this pot really well, and the coco coir had all these weeds growing in it, and I would just pull them up, throw the weeds on top, let them dry out. This is day 32, and then there's actually a spider corpse that you can see to the right here. So I was watering a lot of my pots, and then there were like spiders running around, and for some of them I smashed them and then threw them in on top of the coco coir, on top of the pots, as fertilizer. I do that with weeds and other things too. So this is day 38. I haven't been fertilizing for my plants for almost all of 2025, and the effects have been great. So I'm not going to start, especially with a newly germinated plant seed like this. The seed itself, the embryo, has a very rich nutrient store that can last for a long time. So I'm in no hurry to fertilize. In fact, fertilization tends to stunt development if you use chemical fertilization, because it salts the earth, and then yeah, the plant has like problems with water uptake. At least that seems to be what I've observed. So yeah, I can see the second mover. It's hugging the first mover, and it's got leaves along the way as well. But I don't know about that third mover. It looks like it's damped off, as they would say. But yeah, this seems to be successful so far. Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for the second episode.